Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Local Experts Atlanta. I'm Micah, and I'm here along with Kay, and we're going to be talking about storage. Exciting topic.
Yes, it is.
Uh,
Especially if you need to move.
yeah, if you have something that you need to move, you will suddenly find storage is a lot more than just moving boxes, and making the right choice when you're ready to buy is going to save you a lot of time and energy. So this is it. This is your storage buyer's guide. And how long do you think we're going to be? 15?
Maybe, yeah.
To 15
minutes.
minutes or so.
Roughly.
Yeah, we're going to talk about buying a storage unit. And, you know, we're in the Atlanta area, but no matter where you live, it's mostly the same. You might have to worry about heat a little more when you're in the South.
Yeah,
but
climate.
yeah,
climate differences.
You want that climate-controlled unit if you're down here. But for most people, it's the same, and the basic rules are universal. So, what do they say in French? You're the francophone. On y va? Qu'est-ce que c'est something?
What?
I don't know what they say in French, but
Let's go.
yeah. Before we do anything else, we're gonna have to pack.
First thing.
Right. And any storage run is gonna be easier by being intelligent about your packing. Probably the first and most important thing is just gonna be cleaning up. The material that you use is gonna really help you. Try to use a fresh box. Don't use like that box that you used the last time you moved and you haven't like taken it out and it's been like 2 years, because it's gonna fall apart when you actually start moving
Yeah,
it.
tape actually wears off. The stickiness of tape wears off after a certain time. So you want to try and get fresh boxes, and also make sure you have plenty of shipping tape to go along with it.
And shipping tape is different from masking tape, or is it the same?
No, masking tape is low stickiness.
Okay.
Shipping tape is stronger. It's made for cardboard.
Right, okay.
So
And you can get that anywhere, right? It's not like a
Yeah.
special, okay.
you can get that at your local stores, and you can,
Okay. You want to use packing material generously, because when you're moving stuff from to to fro, it can get damaged. Don't use newspaper, because the ink is going to get on your stuff. It's going to wear out, especially if you're keeping something in storage for an extended.
amount of time.
Right.
And if you're not sure, it's definitely better not to use newspaper. You can use any other type of newsprint style paper, plain
Right.
paper, old gift wrap paper, anything like that, especially for your dishes. You don't want to use newsprint, because that ink will just wear off on whatever it's attached to.
Right. And keep your boxes light. You might be thinking when you're packing, yeah, I'm going to lift this thing up. I'm going to be super strong, save some trips. But like when you think about how tired you're going to be after moving the TV and the couch and the mattress, you're going to be tired. So try not to overdo your boxes. It's going to make your trips a lot longer and more painful. Try to label the stuff that you're using. Usually when people are packing, they say bedroom box, living room box.
Right.
Add the weight of the box, like bedroom box heavy,
Right.
bedroom box light.
If it's heavy or if it's fragile, you definitely should just get a permanent marker and write on the outside of the box, preferably on the top and maybe on the side,
Right.
as well. What room it goes to, and if it's especially heavy, for especially like books, or if it's extremely fragile for things like kitchen dishes.
Right. So let's keep it moving. And this is, when you're ready to actually talk to a storage supplier, there are a few things that you're going to want to know. There's not going to be one universally best place, because everybody's different. Everybody's got different needs. You want to know when the store is open and when you can get to your stuff. And sometimes this depends on the actual unit that you purchase. So you want to ask. And when we talk about location, it's not just where they are in town,
Right.
but where your actual unit is on the complex.
On the property.
Right, because you can have, you're trying to get to your stuff and you've got to drive up and
Right.
down a corner, or it's up a
Right.
hill, or you've got to walk in order to get to it, and you're basically adding. And again, you're going to be tired. You're going to be moving. So try to get a unit that you can load and unload to easily.
The next thing is security is very important. Every place is going to be a little different, but you just have some kind of protection. Most security storage systems have security in place. Usually they'll have an alarm. You want to ask if there's an actual security guard or security cameras. If there's a gate, how do I get in? Is what type of surveillance is going on. You want to make sure that your particular storage unit is covered in that rotation, and their proper maintenance is going on as well. You don't want to be in a blind spot for the security cameras.
Right, and it's also nice if you can get like one of the little keypads to punch yourself in, so that you have more
In
access.
case management is not there, you can still get in
get to your
after
stuff.
office hours. You want to be able to know that your things are still safe.
Correct. Climate control. You know, we talked in the top of this video. It kind of helps to have a climate controlled unit because that's going to keep your stuff from physically rotting when you're not there and checking on it, especially if you're in Atlanta and it's the summer and it's really hot. Sometimes, you know, if they're an indoor unit, you might not need this as much. Just ask them and you'll get an idea of what it is and how much you need it and how important it is.
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Climate control,
Yeah.
going back to that, it's also very important if you have antiques or if you have artwork.
Oh, yeah.
There are certain items in your home that may be very sensitive to climate, and you want to make sure that it sticks to a certain humidity, and that it doesn't get too hot or too cold. So that would definitely be another reason to have climate control.
Definitely. Think about the size of your unit. We're going to talk about that in more depth later on. But you definitely want to think about your own personal needs and your own personal limits here. Try to talk to someone about the size that you're going to need.
Yeah.
You generally are going to need more than you think you will, because you're going to want to stand up, you're going to want to walk, you're going to want to get to the stuff that you packed in. You can try to save a little money on the side, but you'll be in a situation where you can't get to your own stuff.
Yeah, you may be in a situation where you need to go back and into your storage unit and pull out something, and you want to be able to make sure that you can maneuver. But your property manager for your storage can help you with that.
Right. They can also help you with actually getting your stuff from point A to point B. You want to ask if they'll take deliveries, because you might have something delivered to that unit. Do they have stuff like dollies and rolling carts so that you can physically move your stuff from the truck into the unit? Do they have packing supplies? You might not think that you need them, but you probably will.
Another thing to ask also is to check out any extra bubble wrap. Usually most storage units have extra bubble wrap or extra paper so that in case that you run out of anything, you can stop by and pick those items up, as well as extra locks that you may need for your actual storage unit.
Correct. You also obviously want to talk about the technical details of the payment. You know, how much do they charge for late payments? You're probably going to have one or two while you're storing your stuff. When do those payments kick in? And talk to the staff. And when you're asking them 5 or 6 questions about the unit, you're going to really quickly get an idea of whether you and that person get along. You know, in any kind of business where you are in a position of trusting someone with your stuff, it's a lot of personal chemistry does come into play, and this is a good idea. This is a good chance for you to.
And these are also items. Another thing I would also ask would be whether or not they take, whether or not you can drop off a payment after hours.
Right.
Does the main office have a slot that you can slide your payment into, as well as do they take payments online and what type of payments that you can pay over the internet.
That's an excellent addition, because you really want your storage company to work around your schedule and not for you necessarily have to work around theirs. That can be kind of unpleasant. Now, I did tell you that we were going to talk a little bit about storage space. Your storage unit is going to end up being the base of what you're paying them per month. And the temptation is to make it as small as possible and go, haha. It's like when you're going to a buffet and you try to load up on the meat and you're like, haha, they're paying for all this. But if you approach eating with that kind of perspective, you're just going to get indigestion. And you will get indigestion of a different kind trying to cheap out on the storage unit. Think about the size of your largest items. How are they going to fit into your storage unit? Some people have units that are really big and they put a car in there. How's the car going to fit? Think about the details of how you, the human being, are going to get to your stuff. Are you physically able to crawl around tons of stuff to get to what you want?
If it's boxes, it's kind of easy for you to be able to just stack things one on top of each other. But some things can't go into a box.
Right.
And you want to think about the logistics of that and being able to move around inside of your space.
And Kay, I found a really cool resource, and this is Arco's Storage. They're in San Francisco. So odds aren't great that you're, in the market to use these guys specifically, but hey, if you're in the San Francisco area, by all means, give them a ring. This is a visual demonstration of a 10 by 15 unit, and they do a handful of units. We're going to skip around a little bit so that you can actually see that this is, optimized for a bedroom.
Used when storing a 2-bedroom home and can accommodate your belongings in this 150 square foot space. It's like having a large spare bedroom that's available 365 days a year. This unit gives you plenty of room to store your larger items, like appliances, couches, tables and chairs, sporting equipment, and more. Most units have at least 8-foot ceilings, giving you plenty of room to go vertical and stack up. Put away those extra books, craft projects, and...
You get it. And this is just really cool. If you need like a visual idea of what the unit sizes are, and the many infographics and things like that are out there don't quite grab you, you're like a more visual person, you need to see that 3D space. Yeah. I would definitely... Management
is always willing and able to let you check out a space for yourself before you actually sign a contract, because they want you to, pick something that's right for you.
Oh, by all means. Once you actually get on the property, they're going to show you every unit, that's around there. And finally, make sure that you get some insurance. If you care enough about your stuff to get it stored, then you probably care enough about it to pay a few extra pennies per day to get it insured. Remember that your storage unit, they don't know what you have inside there. So, if you've got grandma's diamonds, hanging out in the bin, maybe a little insurance, not the worst thing for you to have.
Don't put grandma's diamonds in storage.
Look, sometimes you don't want to take it with you.
The main point is that your space is whatever items that you have inside of your storage space is not insured. You want to insure it just like you would insure it if you were in an apartment or in a home. So in case of fire or flood or hurricane or tornado, whatever the situation, you want to make sure that you can rebuild. You may not be able to get all of your things 100% back, but you want to be able to have a nice start. So I highly recommend adding in renter's insurance on your unit.
Totally. Now, let's talk about what you're going to do on game day, the day of your move. You're going to be able to do a lot of stuff, but it's very important that more than anything, you keep some safety tips in mind. Get help from a friend. Even if they're not a very strong friend and you don't feel like you need their help, they can still help you, just because when you're tired, any little extra bit can really cut your work in half. You know, the more hands you have on something, it becomes exponentially easier.
Yeah, faster.
Yeah, if you have a 9-year-old friend, put them to work. Wear gloves if you're holding something with sharp edges, and bring stuff to drink, bring stuff to eat. You don't want to have to like get something from a convenience store at the last minute.
You'll have to take a break and maybe eat a little bit, but the most important thing is just make sure you have lots of water.
Absolutely. You want to park close to your house. Load your biggest and heaviest stuff first. You ought to already know better. You know, don't get crazy. And if you have a mirror, this is a really good tip. Put your mirrors between your mattress and your box spring. Especially if you don't have it really tightly packed. You don't want your mirror to roll around in the truck. Bad things will happen, and it's going to mess up everything that you packed. So try to keep those together.
Mirrors or any and also you can also put large pieces of art in between mattresses as well.
This is cool. And definitely communicate with your mover.
Yep. You should always use your mover and make sure that everyone is on the same page. Show them everything about handling and all the extra charges, and you want to just ask about the people that are doing the moving. You know, most of the time, they'll just come in and grab the box and take it out with you, but you want to make sure to keep the lines of communications open.
Yeah, generally, most of the time when people have a problem with their mover, it's not that it was a bad mover. It's just that something happened and they were not on the same page. Like, they didn't know that they were supposed to move something, or didn't know they were supposed to put thing A in place X, whatever. So the more that you're talking to your mover, the better.
Right.
Don't make assumptions that they know what to do, because you probably have your own idea of what you want.
Right.
And, you know, at the end of the day, just get it done. You know, don't spend a lot of time arguing with people. Don't make it a bad day, you know, because that kind of stuff is just going to make it take longer.
Yeah, and another good idea is to make milestones for yourself. I mean, once you're halfway done with getting everything loaded up, give each other a high five. You know, hey, things are moving along, and once you get there, you know, you can do the same thing. You say, hey, you know, we actually packed everything, and nothing was left out, and you know, we got away nice and clean, and you know, we're on our way to the storage unit. Yay!
Right. And you want to keep things light and really focus on your end goal, which is getting your stuff stored so that you can have a little more lightness in your life or be ready to make a big move.
Yeah.
And, you know, speaking of big moves, this video is brought to you by Arrive Marketing in Marietta, and you may be looking to make a big move up these search engines. You know, we are helping businesses in Marietta and Atlanta and nationwide get more customers from the internet. And you may live as far up as Pennsylvania. We've got a client in Pennsylvania, and they're doing some really cool stuff with vitamins and things like that. But whether you are looking to rank a website, whether you're looking to rank a video, we are out here. We're super available. 1-800-422-3420. That is Arrive Marketing. And be sure to look around this channel. Local experts. We do tons and tons of local business reviews and buyer's guides, so that no matter who you are or what you're looking to do in town, you'll be able to find something that fits you and make intelligent buying choices, which we're all about. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching. Maybe a little bit longer than 15 minutes, but hopefully you know a lot more about storage and where to go and what to do.
Questions to ask.
Right.
People to see.
And just to make your journey a lot easier, a lot simpler, and a lot more fun. So, thanks so much for watching.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.